Hi, it's Tom from bknutrition.com, and today I want to talk about boosting your immune system during the winter months in order to make sure you are fully prepared for any viruses that come your way during the month of October, November, December and into January. So these months are the months when most people do pick up some sort of colds or viruses, and obviously at the moment this is quite relevant because we have COVID-19 and we have coronavirus, and also there's a lot of people talking about boosting your immune system and preventing COVID-19. I want to make it clear that this video is not a video saying this is my secret guide to beating COVID-19. It is not at all. This video is a way to bolster your immune system in order to make it sure it's maximally protective against any viruses or colds or anything that comes along. Now, COVID-19 is a respiratory virus. It does affect the respiratory tract, and some of the supplements I'm going to talk about in a minute do help boost or bolster the defense in that area. But again, by no means this is not a COVID-19 video, and I don't want people to think that I'm trying to piggyback on the, on the back of that hysteria. This is every year I do something like this. Generally it's in an email or an article to my email list, and there's articles on my site as well, and this is the first year I'm doing a video because I'm doing lots of YouTube videos at the moment. So also a lot of the information I'm going to talk about today is adapted from a site called Examinecom. Examinecom, I am a member on that site, and it's a site that talks unbiasedly about supplements and nutrition, and it gives you an unbiased researched review of each supplement. So if you go on there, if you don't know, say about creatine, if you go onto that site, type in creatine, it will give you all the pros and cons of taking creatine, all the researched evidence, and all the stuff that it does work for and all the stuff it doesn't work for. And it does this very well for a lot of different supplements, and it's certainly a tool that I use every day when I'm researching for clients and when I'm looking to do videos and such like. So a lot of the information is pulled from there, and they pull their information from the researched studies that are available online, some free, some not. So this is information that has been refined to make it a bit easier to understand for you. But do check out that site if you're ever confused about a supplement. Go to Examine.com. They do have a vast array of library of information that you can look at and get the answers you're looking for in an unbiased way. So there's 4 key supplements I'm going to talk about today, which will help bolster your immune system. Now it's worth just from the get-go, if you're not aware, there are 2 immune systems in your body. You have the innate immune system, which is the first line of defense, and you have the adaptive immune system. Now, when people talk about boosting your immune system, that's actually a fallacy, because if you boosted your immune system, what you would be doing is boosting your innate immune system, whereby, and if you ever have a virus or a cough or a cold and you get that swelling and inflammation and runny nose and everything else, that is your innate immune system adapting to the virus that has been presented to it. And part of that process to slow down the spread of the virus is to give you a temperature, a runny nose, swelling in the nose and everything else. All those things are the innate immune system creating this environment that's going to stop the spread of this virus. So you don't want to bolster that, otherwise you'd be always having inflamed eyes and nose and runny nose and stuff like that. What we're looking to do is bolster the immune system to make it stronger, and the adaptive immune system is where we talk about immunology and that you become immune to a disease. So when you're giving your flu vaccination, you're boosting or bolstering the adaptive immune system, so that when that infection comes along, you're already immune to it and it doesn't affect you that much. So it's worth from the start just making sure that's clear. There's 2 immune systems, innate and adaptive, and the innate one is what gives you generally the flu type symptoms as a reaction to the virus. So when we talk about boosting the immune system, what we actually mean is bolstering the immune system so it is fully prepared to deal with any of these things that come along. So the 4 supplements we're going to talk about bolster the immune system. We're not talking about boosting the immune system. Boosting is more like a keyword thing, so I have said that at the beginning. just for the keywords, sorry about that, but actually we're talking about bolstering the immune system. So the first supplement I want to talk about is garlic. Garlic, as well as fighting off vampires, is also very good for increasing the ability of white blood cells to fight infection. So we're talking about the adaptive immune system here. Garlic is a preventative measure. It won't alter the duration or severity. So if you do manage to pick up a cold or a cough or something like that, garlic won't help with that, but it can help with preventing the incidence of you catching those viruses. Now, garlic is something that obviously has an odor to it, and the advice to have it in sort of a food form is 6 cloves a day. Now, if you've ever had garlic, raw garlic, you'll know what the smell is like of that. It's not great. It's not great if you have a social life. So I generally tend to use odorless garlic, and I look to have between 600 to 1200 milligrams of that supplement per day. Now, what I would also say here, warning here, is if you are using blood thinning medications such as warfarin or aspirin, garlic can interfere with those medications and potentially cause an issue with them. So it's worth, if you are taking those medicines, please do consult your doctor before you supplement with garlic. It's very important that you always consider any supplement that you're taking, how that's going to interfere with any medicine. And there is certain evidence to say that a certain amount of garlic can interfere with certain HIV medicines as well. I think it's up to 8 cloves a day can interfere with that medication. But 8 cloves a day, that's pretty high to have that. But again, you must be aware of those things when you're taking them. So garlic is a really good one to use. I use it myself, and generally it's used as a preventative, but it won't alter the duration or the severity of any colds or coughs or whatever you pick up. So the next supplement I want to talk about is vitamin C. And vitamin C, when researched, helped to reduce the severity, the duration, and also the chances of onset, as in catching a cold or a respiratory tract infection. Generally, you want to look between 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day. That is 1 or 2 tablets. The tablets normally come in 500 milligram or 1,000 milligram tablets. Most are now time released, so they can release during the day. That's absolutely fine. Now, an old school thing with bodybuilders was to take up to 10 grams of vitamin C a day. That's 10,000 milligrams vitamin C a day to help with water loss during getting ready for a show. I wouldn't recommend you do that. I wouldn't recommend that you have over 2,000 milligrams as a normal thing every day. Short term, it can help potentially with a bit of water loss if you're looking for dehydration, but I wouldn't recommend that as a long-term thing to do. 2 grams a day is generally where I'm at, and I do that every single day. And remember, I said at the beginning of the video, you must take it every single day for the preventative mechanisms to be in place. It's like building a wall and maintaining a wall. If you don't maintain it, it falls down, the virus can get in. So you need to make sure that you're taking it every single day. Okay, the next supplement is vitamin D. Vitamin D, or vitamin D3 specifically, because there is vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is the more active version of it, and it's readily available. It's quite cheap to buy. I think it's about £8 for like maybe 6 months supply from most shops. So it's not an expensive supplement. Generally in the UK, we don't get enough vitamin D. There are graphs and there are tests you can find on the internet to show this, but a lot of people in the UK are not at adequate levels of vitamin D3. Now, the recommended dose to have vitamin D3 is about 2,000 IU per day. Now, I've been on certain performance lectures with Dr. Graham Close, who is one of the experts on vitamin D3, and he suggests more to go up to 4,000 IU per day. Now, again, it must be stressed here that it's probably important to have a vitamin D test to see if you are deficient in it. Generally though, if you don't go out in the sun a lot, and you have to have the sun at a certain zenith in the air and have a certain sun exposure on your skin for a certain amount of time per day in order to get the amount of adequate vitamin D3 in your diet. Most of us don't have that because a lot of us work inside. We don't go out a lot, and especially in winter, there's not a lot of sun, and there isn't the amount of sun that you need to be able to get vitamin D3. So generally, I supplement with about 4,000 IUs a day throughout the year, and that helps to, I have noticed a difference with that and the vitamin C. I've noticed a difference that people around me all falling down with coughs and colds, and I generally don't get them. Not to say I don't get a cough or a cold, because yeah, I do get them, but the incidence of me getting them is very, very small compared to, say, other people around me. So vitamin D3, make sure it's the D3 version, and if you can, get the one with the oil capsule. Although I've taken the tablets in the past, the oil capsule apparently is supposed to be a little bit better for you. And vitamin D3 can help with respiratory tract infections, and actually there is a lot of research coming out now showing that having vitamin D3 or optimal levels of vitamin D3 can ward off against COVID-19. So that's worth considering. Again, this isn't a COVID-19 cure video, but there is a good link between vitamin D3 and or vitamin D3 being optimal in the body and the ability to fight off COVID-19 and coronavirus. So that's something I would recommend absolutely every single day. People have, I recommend it to my clients. It's a cheap supplement. It's worth having in your arsenal. And there are a million other health benefits of having optimum D3 in your diet, and it's very hard to get it from your diet alone. You have to eat a lot of oily fish and a few other things. It's very hard to get that in your diet. Just supplement with it. It's very cheap. It's a very effective supplement. And the last supplement on the list is zinc. Zinc is something that will help boost the immune system, but also with helping with respiratory tract infections. Now, here's a thing that you might not know, is that zinc comes in lozenges, and you can have zinc lozenges if you start to have a sore throat or a respiratory tract infection. If you were to suck a zinc lozenge one every sort of 3 hours or so, that would help to reduce the spread of that virus, so you might recover from that sore throat or cough a lot quicker. Just be aware that having a zinc maybe can reduce your taste of, so your sense of taste for a small amount of time. Now, obviously, with COVID-19 we've got going around, one of the things is loss of smell and taste. So if you're having zinc lozenges and you lose your sense of taste sort of temporarily, don't think you've immediately got COVID-19. It's probably just the lozenge that's having that effect. And also there is a risk of overdosing with zinc, can make you feel nauseous. That again is short-lived, and if that happens, obviously stop taking the zinc or reduce the amount of zinc that you're having. Generally, for bolstering the immune system, zinc is recommended at 30 milligrams per day for men and around about 20 milligrams per day for women. The reason in the difference between men and women is that zinc is lost during ejaculation with men, so it's recommended to have a little bit more. So 30 milligrams per day. Now, generally how I supplement with zinc is to have zinc in a ZMA, so zinc, magnesium and B12 supplement, which I take before I go to bed. Now, there's no research that backs ZMA as a supplement. I take it purely because it's a way to get my zinc in and my magnesium in, and I have noticed myself that I do get better sleep and better dreams from having it, although there is no research to back that up. I'm just saying that's from my own experience, that ZMA before bed does help, and it does help with a more restful sleep for me. If it's a placebo, it's great, it's working, it's giving me better sleep, and it also helps me get my zinc in. Just be aware that some supplements and some pre-workouts also contain zinc, and you can overdose on zinc, and if you do overdose on zinc and it's long term, you might cause damage to your liver and kidneys, so you don't really want that to happen. So if you are taking, say, a multivitamin, make sure that the zinc you're getting from the multivitamin doesn't outweigh what you're getting from and doesn't combine with the other zinc sources you're taking to give you a high dose during the day. And there are certain pre-workout supplements that also have zinc in as a testosterone booster. Just be aware of that. Again, because it's very easy if you're taking a multivitamin and ZMA and a zinc in a pre-workout, that you're highly likely to get to a more toxic dose there during the day, and if you do that for the long term, it can cause health issues. So those are my big four that I have regularly: garlic, vitamin C, vitamin D and zinc. So garlic 600 milligram to 1200 milligram per day. Be careful if you're taking blood thinning medications or HIV medications. Vitamin C 1000 to 2000 milligram per day. There's no real contradictions with that, and you can take it with iron to help absorb iron. Then we have vitamin D3. Generally, it's recommended 2,000, but like I've said, on speaking to certain researchers in the area, up to 4,000 IUs a day is probably a safe dose for most people in the UK, and that's certainly what I take. And also the last one is zinc, 20 milligrams per day for women and 30 milligrams per day for men. So that's my big four for immune system bolstering, not boosting. That's something that very cheap supplements to buy, something that you can buy a year's supply of all four of them for probably, I think, under £20, maybe £30. So it's not something that's going to break the bank, but it will give you a really good defense against respiratory tract infections such as COVID-19, such as cold, such as flu, those sorts of things. And certainly it's something that's very relevant nowadays. Again, this is not a COVID-19 defense video. It's not a COVID-19 cure video. I am not an immunology expert. I'm a nutritionist, and I'm telling you what I do for my clients and what I advise to my clients based on the research that's presented to me. If you want to read more about the supplements I've talked about, please go to Examinecom. They have all the research links there, all the breakdown there, and it's something you can access. I think most of it's there for free, and it is a very good resource if you're ever looking to look at supplements or vitamins and minerals and how and why you should take them. So I hope this video was informative and helpful. If it was, please share it. Please tell your friends about it. Like it, comment below, do all the things that help get the video out there. It's all really important. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.